In a time of faith and fear, when a nation wandered through the wilderness, guided by the very presence of God, they saw the land of promise, rich and abundant, but also home to giants that made them tremble. Hope and doubt collided as the people faced the ultimate test of their faith. Would they trust in God's promise or let their fears lead them astray? Discover the journey of faith, challenge, and the ultimate test of belief. The Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, giving him instructions to make a sacred chest called the covenant box. This box would hold the tablets of the 10 Commandments, representing God's covenant with his people. Alongside the covenant box, Moses was instructed to build the tent of the Lord's presence, also known as the tabernacle. This tent would be the place where God's presence would dwell among the Israelites during their journey through the wilderness. God also gave Moses detailed instructions on how to ordain Aaron and his sons as priests. They were to serve as mediators between God and the people, offering sacrifices and performing sacred rituals. The ordination ceremony was elaborate, involving special garments, anointing oil, and sacrifices. Aaron and his sons were consecrated to serve the Lord in the tabernacle, and they were the only ones permitted to enter the Holy of Holies, the most sacred part of the tent of the Lord's presence. While Moses was on the mountain receiving these instructions from God, the people of Israel grew restless. They waited for Moses to return, but when he did not come back quickly, they became anxious. In their impatience, they approached Aaron and asked him to make them a god they could worship. Aaron, under pressure from the people, collected their gold earrings and fashioned a calf from the melted gold. The people worshipped the golden calf, calling it their god who had brought them out of Egypt. They offered sacrifices and held a wild celebration, turning away from the true God who had delivered them from slavery. This act of idolatry greatly angered the Lord. When Moses finally descended from the mountain and saw the people worshipping the golden calf, he was furious. He threw down the stone tablets on which the 10 Commandments were written, breaking them into pieces. The people were shocked and afraid as Moses confronted them about their sin. He destroyed the golden calf and made the people drink water mixed with its ground up remains as a punishment for their rebellion. The Lord was very angry with the Israelites for their disobedience. He told Moses that if he continued to travel with them, his anger might destroy them. Instead, God said he would send an angel to guide them to the promised land. Moses pleaded with God to stay with his people, but the Lord insisted that the angel would go before them. The people of Israel continued to follow God's instructions. They built the tent of the Lord's presence exactly as the Lord had commanded. Skilled craftsmen worked on the tabernacle, making it a beautiful and sacred place. When the construction was finished, the glory of the Lord filled the tent. A thick cloud covered the tent, and no one could enter because of the overwhelming presence of God. Whenever the cloud lifted from the tent, the Israelites knew it was time to break camp and continue their journey. The cloud was a sign of God's presence and guidance. When it remained over the tent, the people stayed where they were, knowing that the Lord was with them. This cloud guided them throughout their journey, giving them confidence that they were following God's will. As the Israelites approached the promised land, the Lord instructed Moses to choose one leader from each of the 12 tribes of Israel to explore the land of Canaan. Moses sent these 12 spies to the southern part of Canaan, instructing them to observe the land, its people, and its cities. The spies explored Canaan for 40 days. They discovered that the land was fertile and rich, with abundant crops. They even cut a branch bearing a single cluster of grapes, which was so large that 2 men had to carry it on a pole between them. However, the spies also saw the descendants of the Anakim, a race of giants living in the land. The sight of these giants made them feel small and weak. After 40 days, the spies returned to Moses and the people of Israel. They reported that the land was indeed flowing with milk and honey, but they also warned that the people there were powerful and their cities were heavily fortified. Some of the spies even submitted false reports saying that the land did not produce enough to feed the people and that they could not possibly conquer it. They felt inferior to the giants and doubted that they could take possession of the land despite God's promise. If this story inspired you and you want to share the good news of God's love and faithfulness, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe for more stories that uplift your spirit. Thanks for watching, and may your faith continue to grow strong.